Maybe I'll just take the fan out of it.
Yeah, I don't think you need those anymore. I think that's the legacy hardware.
I don't.
Don't want to do a reply.
Alrighty. What was I trying to do? Anything good?
Retweet.
T27. Sure.
Check. 1, 2. There we go. Values are set.
Okay, I'm going to start Zencaster. Looks like everybody's good. Thomas, did you confirm your settings?
Yep.
Just because you have some much other issues.
All right, so if you're watching us live, you can either watch us or Trevor Noah on The Daily Show live on YouTube. I'm sure most people are listening to us.
Yeah, no. Who's gonna Trevor Noah?
He's a hack. Got nothing on us.
Thomas, you just let me know when you're ready. We'll just kick it off, I guess.
I'm ready. Zencaster's going. We're streaming. It's good to go.
All right. We're not gonna do music.
Yes.
We don't. No, it's fine.
Okay.
We don't need to. We're already. Well, only 5 minutes.
Yeah. We normally do it at this point. We're normally starting way
Let's-
later than this.
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout the host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP, the ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting. I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole.
All right.
Oh, that was premature. You can't just end him like that. I'm like all jazzed up. You can just cut him off. That was painful. All right, are we ready to go?
We're ready to go.
Stop stopping your screen. Skype is stupid. I hate Skype. That's not on the internets yet, is it?
Yeah.
It's all on the internet. Everything.
Damn it. Microsoft, I'm sorry, please. Never mind. Screw it. It doesn't matter.
To Microsoft.
Never.
All right, I'm kicking it off.
Please do before I say something stupid. Too late.
I don't understand. This is okay. You're listening to episode 227 of PHPUgly, your alcohol-infused developer rants, your friends, your buddies, the people you like to hang out with on a Thursday night and have a glass of scotch. I'm your host, Eric Van Johnson, and with me is John Congdon.
I forgot the scotch. I knew I forgot something. Damn it.
And Thomas Rideout.
I'm drinking beer.
Yeah, me too.
Of brown liquors.
Gentlemen, we have new offices, old new offices. We have new sponsors. We have so much to do, so much to discuss. I'm looking at the Trello board for Tom and I, and it's like we've been like in the same mindset all week. We're sharing almost the exact same stories.
What is Trello?
It's going to be a fun show. I'm calling it. I'm calling it right now.
That's a bold statement.
This is going to be the best 227th show we've ever done. Ever.
That's
okay, let's wrap that up.
That's a very good prediction you've got there.
Gentlemen, how are you doing? How has your week been so far? Thomas, you have been moving around a lot.
Yeah, had to move back into my bedroom from my office. My daughter came home from California, and it's a tighter space than I remember it being in here. There's a lot less like room for anything, and also I forgot how much work it takes to set up my computer. It's probably like a solid 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
You ever look at like the cable?
Yeah, that's how
the cable mess behind your computer, and you're like, I know there's extra cables back there. Like I know there's stuff that's not plugged in. Everything I have is plugged in. It's ridiculous.
Well, then you're always like, the next time I move, I'm gonna do so much better cable management. And then you move, it's like, I just gotta get this shit together. I got things to do.
This move was about, we have a deadline. It's in a couple hours today, so just do the minimal to get myself up and running.
Or you say that you had what?
3 weeks?
2 weeks, a month. Yeah. It's not like it was like all of a sudden she was at your doorstep or hey, I'm on my way home.
That's exactly what it was like. Yes.
It's what it was like because you made it that
Correct.
way.
But that doesn't mean that's not what it was like. Whoever's fault it is, it's still that's what happened. I don't.
Oh, you kill me.
Hey,
I joined the club.
How was your week?
I joined the club. So I've been wearing these other like cheapo glasses. I say cheapo. I'm sure I paid a pretty penny for them a decade ago because the doctor said, "Oh, you should wear these when you're on a computer," and I never did. So now I got legit glasses.
How big of a difference is it for you?
Pretty big difference. I mean, it was amazing to me. The clarity that I had just looking at my phone now. It's like, and I think Thomas pointed it out when he got his. Like, now you take them off, and you're like, whoa, I'm blind. Are both of you wearing progressives?
Yeah. No. I have progressives, but I actually don't wear them. I can never get used to wearing them at my desk because you kind of have to tilt your head back a little bit. At least for me, the way my progressives were, I had to tilt my head back a little bit, and I just couldn't get used to that. So I actually have glasses just for working, and then I have my progressives for like when I'm driving or when I'm out on the town and I don't want to put glasses on and take glasses off. I just put my progressives on.
Oh. How about you, Thomas?
Mine are just blue light blocking. It's got the anti-scratch film and the blue light blocking, and it's my first time as an optometrist, so I like bought the whole package.
I mean, I went with the same thing, that whole protection piece, but what about the actual lens?
No,
is it just nearsighted, farsighted?
It's actually astigmatism, so I don't know what it is, but it's definitely different in parts of the lens.
Interesting.
What about you, John?
It's progressive where I'm mostly farsighted. So the top part is meant for distance viewing, the middle is for my computer, and then the bottom is for reading.
Interesting. So you have 3. Okay, so I don't think I had a middle part. I think mine just went from distance to reading.
You know who invented that?
Okay.
That ability to do progressive lenses? My uncle.
What?
That's the whole story.
I'm waiting for the punchline. Really, your uncle created progressive lenses,
and he has a patent on it.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm amazed.
It's impressive. That's where I.
You don't sound that impressed.
That's where, as a kid, I used to play the Warhammer tabletop games that cost like $10,000 for a set.
No,
Warhammer. I don't know what you're talking about.
Where you have a giant table and you have a ruler and you measure like how far your guy can shoot using miniature figurines and tanks and stuff.
No clue what you're talking about.
I
didn't have $10,000 games when I was a kid.
I see what you're talking about now. Yeah. Oh wow, that's crazy.
So he's doing well for himself.
Take it you're not close to him.
I am.
Just the way you're being very vague and very like dodgy about it. So it seems like yeah. Distant uncle. I've talked to him once in my life.
I got told on Twitter that I bitch too much on a per episode basis. So I'm trying to be even keeled. Everything's fine. We're not.
Are you gonna bitch about your uncle?
No.
Well then,
he's going to, but the Twitter follower told him not to.
Shouldn't have brought it up. Let's go on. Let's move on.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's move on. I can't top that, man. I think we need to wrap up the show at this point. Jeez.
I could absolutely top this show. Have you not seen my board? I've got so much weird stuff.
Well, don't get in the board yet, John. I'm trying to figure out other things. Thomas, you have a completely new background. I mean, a background I remember from the past, but it's changed. John, you're missing a pretty key part of your background. Where is your 3D printer, man?
3D printer? What 3D printer? What are you talking about?
Did your wife find out about it?
Yeah.
He tried to use the laser and it blew it up.
No, actually, I got the enclosure for it. Oh my god, it didn't fit in here.
Oh yeah.
I tried every way to make this thing work in my office. It was already barely fitting. I had this filing cabinet pulled out from the wall just to get the machine to fit back there. Put the enclosure on it. Nah, not happening.
Yeah. Where's it at now? You put it in the garage?
It's in the garage. This weekend I built a little rolling stand for it, which I had so much spare wood in my garage that my wife has been complaining about needing to get rid of, and finally found a use. I'm like, I'm going to build this rolling stand. It fit like my table saw underneath of it, the printer's on top, and printing some fun stuff. So don't know if you can quite see what that is, but
what is that?
That is a Harry Potter chess set.
It's a chess set. I get it. Now I see it.
So it's a little case. I still have to print the lid to go on top of this thing. But my niece...
Oh, so you printed the case as well. That is crazy.
Yeah, the case is printed. I've got... So that's the black pieces. The white pieces are going to go in this case. I got to start doing that soon. But my niece's birthday is coming up in a few weeks. And she's into Harry Potter, so I'm going to try and get her into chess.
It's very impressive until you see Adam Savage do something. Do you watch his channel at all?
Why do you got to knock him down? See, that's why people on Twitter don't like you, Thomas.
I didn't say they didn't like me.
What about Adam Savage? In printing you talking about, or his one-day builds?
All his one-day build stuff is just so ridiculous.
Well, yeah, of course, because he's got like a bajillion tools.
The guy literally built the Death Star, didn't he? I mean, Jesus.
I've watched some of the stuff he's built.
Pretty good
it's
at what
amazing.
He does.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very good at downloading a file and saying, "Hey, printer, go print this." But okay, Thomas, you were correct. It is not just a send the file to the printer and you're good to go. It takes a lot of patience and work, and I've made quite a few mistakes.
Oh yeah, that'll happen.
I've got plenty of these pieces sitting around that they're just so stringy and hairy looking. But I've got some really cool looking time lapses now. So Eric, I showed you that one I made for you.
Mhm.
I've got an even better system now. Unfortunately, I haven't done anything that's tall enough to see really well, but you'll see on the internet where it just looks like this thing just grows out of nothing. So I've got a set now where every time a new layer happens, the print head moves out of the way and it takes a snapshot. So it's just like, so you just watch it grow. But
Cool.
that added so much complexity to printing, because now you're moving the print head and it's oozing some of the material out, and you got to figure out how to deal with all of that.
Yeah, it gets kind of ridiculous at a certain point.
But it is a blast, and the stuff I get to print and just kind of have fun with.
Have you seen the thing that fuses colors together?
No.
So you send your file to this pre-processor that takes 3 different filaments coming in, and it cut and remelds the filaments together to match what color should be printed at that time.
And then you just constantly pause and
it's
swap
always running, because it outputs one filament of changing colors to the printer.
Or how do you change the
you feed
color?
3 different colored filaments into this box, and it outputs one filament of changing color.
How does it do it at the breaks? So if these are India, see on mine the print head itself pulls the filament in, so that wouldn't work.
No,
for
it
me.
would. It knows how fast the filament feeds, and it feeds at the same rate as the print head, because it takes the same G code. It just doesn't.
So this is just like a little proxy server, John. It stands between the head and the filament.
I see that. I'm just trying to figure out how it does that.
It feels like magic, but it's actually not, because it's printing the same exact G code, but it's not moving a print head. It's just changing filament colors at specific times. And it knows the length between the proxy and the printer. That's what's important.
That is crazy. That you send me that
like
link.
We have to try that, John. I think we have to try it.
Yeah, because I'm frustrated with the printer I have right now, and I don't know why this is turning into a 3D printing episode, but it is.
Oh.
The lid for this Harry Potter chess set, they give you a little test tile, because you can print the box itself as one color, and then the H logo on top of it in a different color.
Mm-hmm.
And I finally got the G code to make it where my printer would pause at the right moment, and I could swap out the filament, but I couldn't get the printer to resume. And everything I'm reading says SnapMaker doesn't support these G codes yet for pausing and continuing. So the other thing I could do, which is harder, is what you're saying, Thomas, is knowing exactly how much filament it takes to print, and then snipping it before it goes through the hot end, so that then it kind of runs out of filament and you got to reload it, and you just reload it with a different color.
Yeah, or you can edit the G code with text editor. I've done that.
No, I did. That's what I mean. I've done that.
The printer itself doesn't support the G code for pausing.
Right. It doesn't. Right. Well, I can pause it. I can't resume it.
Interesting.
So I sat here with my printer. I was watching an Octoprint where it was just saying, waiting for user response constantly, and I couldn't send anything that would kick it back into motion saying, no, go, we're good. And it's been an open issue on GitHub now for a year or two.
Eric's got something to say.
I do. We talked what, last week, I think, or a couple weeks back, about sponsorship, and we've been doing the show for what, 3 years now. The only sponsorship we've had has been Diego Dev, right? I mean, we flipped the bill for everything we've been doing. Never really looked for sponsorship. Had a couple people ping us on it, but nothing ever followed through. We actually got our first follow through on sponsorship. So we have a sponsor for this episode. And I believe John wanted to tell you about it. John?
You are serious about that?
I was 100% serious.
Why would you?
Did you not do your homework?
I did. Sort of, not really. I'm waiting for Thomas to tell me when he's ready.
Oh, I'm trying.
Yeah, we got video. Thomas, you didn't do your homework either. You didn't set it up, did you?
I asked you for what to set up.
I sent it to you like 3 days ago.
By the way, this has nothing to do with our sponsor. This is all us. See, as Harry Mack said, because they're not professional. Just saying.
Are you gonna get this done or something?
Working. Let's see if the built-in browser works. Let's try that.
Oh my gosh! What are you doing? I mean, that's not a. We don't have to have that if you can't get it. We'll get it ready for next. There you go. Is that the video?
You didn't send me a video.
Yes,
oh my God, Thomas! I did.
It's a YouTube video on our chat.
You're making me have to edit the audio podcast, and you're pissing me off, buddy. Here, I'll send you.
I just see a flood.
Send me the link right now. In our private chat.
Oh come
Thomas.
on! I never look at that.
Oh, here, I guess. Here, I'll put it in the ugly chat for you.
No, I've got it now.
I'll put it. Jeez, oh flip. All right, you don't need. There's no audio to it. You don't have to worry about it. Just go full screen or whatever. Okay, John, do your thing.
Oh my God.
Alrighty.
That's still not good. Oh my God.
This will be our only month of sponsorship. What are you doing?
There.
All right. You're good. We bring today's podcast to you in cooperation with Cloudways, a managed cloud hosting platform built for your PHP projects. If you simply wish to focus on your business, Cloudways is the way to go. They take over server management and security and free up time that you can dedicate to growing your business and acquiring new clients. The platforms offer a choice of Internet as a Service partners, AWS Cloud, Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, Linode, and Vultr. In addition, you get a performance-optimized stack, managed backups, and staging environment where you can test your code before pushing it to the live servers. Best of all, Composer and Git come pre-installed so you can get your projects up and running quickly. All this power, simplicity, and peace of mind falls right with their brand slogan, Moving Dreams Forward. If you want to give them a try, use promo code PHPUgly to get $25 to get a $25 credit. We gotta clean that up there.
That wasn't bad. That would be infrastructure as a service, not internet as a service. But
did I say internet?
Yeah.
Did I say internet as a service?
Yeah. So that's the official
as a service.
That's the official read. We'll probably pre-record that just so we don't fumble through it next time. But we wanted to kind of give it a live read the first time, and let everybody know that we've been talking to Cloudways for a little over a month now. We've had back and forth, so I'm understanding who they were, what their service was. I actually signed up and used their service before we agreed to the sponsorship, and it's cool. It really does remove the server management piece from your workflow. So you literally just ask for a server, you deploy to it. It's not serverless. I mean, you still have a console that if you need to, you can log into the server and run things. But the one thing that took me a little to get used to, because I'm a sysops person, is that there's no root access for you. So everything you do, you set the permissions. And I wanted to log into it because that's what I was accustomed to doing for my servers. But once I got my head around the service, the Cloudways service, I realized there's no reason for me to log into this server. Everything I need to do, I can do through the interface. And I deployed a project we were working on. I let it run for a few days. Yeah, it's cool. It's kind of like if you're familiar with Laravel Forge, kind of like that, but kind of even more. You're even more removed from having to do the operations of the server. So it even abstracts it away, and it's not a Laravel specific service. I mean, it's PHP, it's Node, it's Python, it's whatever you need a server for, they can do it. They're focused on PHP right now. That's kind of their sweet spot. They actually have templates for Laravel, WordPress, Drupal, generic PHP. I feel like there was another standout there, and I don't recall what it was. But
so
yeah.
When deploying, did you have to have an account on the service already?
No. So I picked what service I wanted to take advantage of. I went ahead and picked DigitalOcean because that's just what we use. And no, I never had to provide any credentials for that platform.
So you wouldn't be putting an extra bill. You're not paying DigitalOcean and Cloudways. You're paying just Cloudways. They're managing all of that for you, which when it comes to AWS is probably amazing because AWS is a pain if you're trying to do any sort of infrastructure on there.
Yeah. And they had Google Cloud, DigitalOcean, Linode,
Vultr.
Vultr and AWS were the services provided. I guess I should have checked. I can log back in and check. I imagine the only difference from your perspective is cost. Maybe they're all a little different in cost and availability. Maybe they all don't have availability, wherever you are in the world.
Maybe you just don't want to give Amazon your money anymore, so you want to go somewhere else.
Very easy to scale. I even changed my PHP version several times from 7.2 to 7.4 to 8 after I deployed the code. So I didn't have to redeploy anything. I deployed my code. I'm like, okay, well, let me see if this will run under 8. I just changed the configuration through the interface and had it run on 8, and I realized that my UUID package needs to be updated. So, well,
thank you so much, Cloudways, for the sponsorship. We do appreciate it very much.
We do. So they're sponsoring us for this month, and it won't always be this long. Like I said, we'll do a pre-record or something. But thanks again, Cloudways, for sponsoring us and helping us out.
I don't
Appreciate
know.
it.
I know us pretty well. I think we're going to stumble for the next couple weeks on trying to do this.
I mean, I feel like that's why somebody would want to sponsor. It's like they don't want it to be clean. Like they want us to fuck it up and say, okay, let's see what these guys say.
Let's watch them learn on the fly. That's always fun.
Eric told me I was doing the read. I thought he was joking.
I don't joke about reads, man. I don't joke about money. Come on, you know
that. So last week we talked about NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and
non-fungible tokens.
This is how far ahead of the market we are. After our episode, everyone was talking about this stuff.
Like every flippin' IT related article had some sort of NFT hook to it for like the next week.
Now
it's just popping up everywhere.
I'm not going to lay blame and say who said, why are you even talking about this topic? Me, Eric, doesn't care. But I did get shut down a little bit.
Still don't care.
Everyone's talking about the big thing today. Somebody sold an NFT for $69 million.
Okay, so for people just listening, or people just joining us, or people who might not be familiar, can you just do a recap of what an NFT is, Thomas?
It's a way to launder money. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Thomas.
I can't put it more succinctly than that. I don't think
It's a way to fabricate value.
it's
That's
a new
what
way of
I call it.
fabricating
It's a
value.
way to fabricate value.
An NFT is a token on the blockchain that is unique. It's not fungible, so it can't be traded for another of the same value and be the same thing. Right now, if I have a Bitcoin and I sell it and buy a different Bitcoin, I still have a Bitcoin. Same thing with dollars, is that no $1 bill is worth more than another dollar bill. But if you start tracking the serial numbers on dollars and there is a valuable dollar bill, that's the NFT part, is the serial number. So this is just serial numbering stuff on the blockchain. And there is a sports trading card group that started messing around with this, and they've sold some really expensive stuff. But it's this artist Beeple who really broke the record, selling this $70 million collection of 5,000 pictures he's taken.
The current record, because there's somebody hot on his tail.
Who?
So Jack Dorsey, the creator of Twitter, is selling his first tweet with an NFT attached to it. He's donating everything to charity, and so far the top bid, as of me doing my research on this, was $2.5 million for literally nothing.
I'm not sure you
it's
caught
the
what I
first.
said. The art that sold today was 70 million.
Oh, was it 70 million?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is a lot more.
So 2.5 isn't really on its hot on
Now,
its tail.
Jack Dorsey's tweet, interestingly enough, has some extenuating rules to it. NFTs are contracts on the blockchain, and every time it changes hands, he gets 1% of the fund that was transferred.
What?
Yeah.
So the thing that this person is bidding on, this first tweet by the founder of Twitter, if they sell it again, he gets a 1% of that sell?
Yeah, and he's donating that 1% indefinitely, so it's almost like it's a trust.
Wow.
Yeah. It's because these are contracts, they can have very strange rules to them. You could technically set up an MLM entirely based off of these NFT trading contracts.
But what are you buying when you're buying his first tweet? I don't get this.
Again, that depends on the contract. I believe you have the rights to publication and even ownership. I mean, if you look at this the way that we look at the Mona Lisa, right now I can pull up a picture of the Mona Lisa, but I don't own the Mona Lisa. I can't choose to publish the picture in my book. But the person who owns the NFT for LeBron James dunking on somebody, he has the rights to that picture. He gets to publish that to whom he wants to, and if they don't pay up, he can sue them and say, look, it's my NFT. I owned it during the time you published. So there is an element of ownership in this stuff, as it goes to copyright and trademark claims. So, I mean, it may be nothing, but there's a lot of nothing selling on the internet already. So this is...
There's a lot of people excited about this nothing. I mean, this is... There's a... I can't remember which article it was in, but some band is releasing their next album, and they're releasing a digital version with NFT on it.
Yes, that is the Kings of Leon. Their new album is an NFT-based album.
Yeah. So it's...
So,
I mean,
so you have to have the NFT to even listen to it? Is that the deal?
I don't think so.
No.
I think it just proves that... I think it just proves that you own it. It's just like It's just like a certificate of, I own this album. So
let's take
authenticity.
this to another one of our most recent favorite ideas, which is GameStop. Previously, when you owned a video game, you could sell the disc back to GameStop for some amount of money, and they would turn around and sell it. But as everything went digital, you lost the ability to sell or resell video games you'd purchased. NFTs would allow you to buy and sell used digital video games.
So then does this go in the face of Apple, who has this belief of, hey, you don't actually own anything. You don't own your iTunes music library. You don't own
everybody. But yeah, it does.
So this goes against that grain. Then, if I buy a Prince album and I get an NFT associated with it, then I own that album now. Like whether it's digital
Prince?
or not
Who's
digital,
Prince?
I own it.
You're
Stop
old.
it. My wife fired up a Prince Pandora channel a couple days ago, and I haven't stopped listening to it since.
You know, that's
Prince was a
hint,
god.
Right? When your wife starts playing Prince around the house, you've got work to do.
Clean the windows.
Prince has a very special place for Beck and I. It's very special music
Is it
to
the
us,
crotch?
and we have been enjoying it.
Is the
What's
special
that?
place the crotch?
You're not allowed to say that. We have a sponsor now.
I think that's part of our agreement. Thomas isn't allowed to say bad fucking words. Jesus. What? So Thomas,
Yes.
I know how much you love Laravel releases.
Absolutely love him.
And I
Now I see this as good. I see this as good news.
I don't want to trigger you. Oh, good. I was gonna say I don't want to trigger you, but we're always complaining. Oh, I'm not reading the article you think I'm reading. Then I guess I should have put these over here. Don't mean to trigger you, but one of our top complaints with the new releases is that they always have new features that they slip in. Whether that's the place for them or not the place for them, we kind of go, back and forth on how much it frustrates us. But a couple of new things made in the latest release that I thought were pretty cool. So in the latest release of Laravel, they have a new DD method, which is dump and die for HTTP requests. So there a few versions back, I forget, maybe it was 8, maybe sometime in 7, I think it was sometime in 7. Laravel has its own built-in HTTP client. Before that, do you remember what the package everybody used before that? It was Adam Rathen's package.
Guzzle?
No, not Guzzle, not Gulp. It used Guzzle. Anyways, he put some pretty front end on Guzzle. They essentially pulled
Was that the ZHTTP one?
Yes.
The one that we discovered,
that
and then everyone else was like, hey, this thing's cool.
Yeah. So they have their own HTTP client built into Laravel now. And as somebody who does a lot of API usage, it's always been one of these. When you got a response from an API call, it was easy to grab it and dump it and see what was in there. What wasn't so easy is to confirm the request that you were making. So you think you're configuring everything correctly, you think your request is formatted correctly, but maybe sometimes you're not getting the response you're looking for. There's now a die and dump method, or dump and die and dump, I forget which is first, but that you can actually tack onto the beginning of the request that will dump it out for you. You can see exactly what your request, the request you're making looks like. That I felt was pretty cool, and I know we have a thing about new features being added to to minor releases, but that was one where I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool. Then We just talked.
Before you jump away from that, there's another way to do that is not Laravel specific, that you can use for almost anything if you really wanted to, and that is ngrok.
ngrok will let you see what requests you're making outbound.
ngrok well, maybe I misunderstood what you were talking about. I thought you meant the request you're making to your application.
No, other way around.
No. So this is an HTTP client in your application. So we have the one client where we're using a third party to do some image processing. Processing. So I make a API call to that third party, and what this allows me to do is this allows me to dump that call before it goes out, and allows me to see exactly what I'm sending out over the wire. So I can be sure, like if I'm having a problem, I'm not getting the response I'm expecting. I'm like, okay, wait, I'm giving you the information you're wanting, and it's formatted correctly. Why aren't you giving me the information back? I can now see what my actual request is, and if I have to debug with that customer service or something, I can say, okay, here's what I'm sending you. What's wrong?
So to be clear, yes, you could use ngrok for that too.
Oh, can you? I didn't know that.
Well, you would set up ngrok you'd have your code hit your ngrok server and have your ngrok set to point to that third-party service. And then basically it becomes a proxy at that point, but because of ngrok's built-in HTTP client where you can see your requests and responses, and it allows you to replay your requests very easily. It's just
does it? I didn't know ngrok lets you do that.
Yeah, when you fire up ngrok, it gives you an admin URL, and you go to that. It shows you all your requests, and you can easily replay them.
I know it has an admin, and I can't say I ever went over to it to see what was there. So that's good to know. Yeah,
I've used it plenty when working with an API, and it just allows me replay. Crap! I still gotta fix the code. Go fix it. Replay versus
Postman?
Having to do something.
Don't you guys pre-plan all of your API stuff?
Well,
in Postman?
So there's a little bit of a difference from what he's talking about. We're still talking about outbound, not inbound. I'm saying I've used it in this way for
Postman has
working with my own API
server that it can run that'll allow inbound.
Right, but what Eric is talking about is you're trying to write your PHP code to hit a third party. It's not. I'm using Postman. I'm going to hit the third party and see what I'm sending and getting back. I want to make sure my PHP code is doing what I expect it to do.
Can do that. I believe Postman can proxy to a third party.
Huh.
Well, I don't know how to do that. And along that same line, another very cool feature that they added. What was that? What was that sigh? I'm trying to have PHP Laravel conversations here.
So
this is relevant because we talked about this a few shows back.
But I want to go back.
Ahead, John.
I don't want to move on yet. I still have questions about this. So with the HTTP client, you're saying it's a dump and die command. It's not. How does that? You're putting it before you make the HTTP or before the HTTP call, so it doesn't actually.
It's actually after. Yeah, you actually call up the HTTP facade, or
yeah, it is.
It's not a facade. Is it a facade? Okay, you call up the HTTP facade. You can put in what your entire call, but the first thing you put in before that, you can either do a dump, which doesn't stop the application from running. It'll just kick out what that request looks like, or you can do a dump and die where it says, "Hey, don't process this. Just show me what you have."
What you're gonna say.
So you actually put it in the the string that you're putting together to make your call. So it's right there. It's not something you're catching after the fact. It's right there.
Yeah. So I guess just make sure that doesn't go to production, right? Whoops,
Well,
I
like
left
all
my
your
debugging
DD
in my
commands,
code.
yeah, exactly. Like all your DD commands, you don't want it in production.
All right,
And,
I'm ready to move
and
on now. I'm done with it.
I will say, I'm at this conflicted place in my life where I'm coding more and more back in native Vim and loving it and feeling like I'm more productive and feeling like I'm a better developer when I do that because I don't get all the help I get out of PHP Storm. But this is an example of where PHP Storm has saved me, where if you put a DD command in any method in PHP Storm, it automatically like highlights everything underneath of it. Well, basically, it says, "Hey, all this now is unreachable code. Like you've died and dumped up here.
Except
I can't
for
get
now,
any
'cause
of
it
this
can't
stuff."
detect this method.
And it
Yeah.
really kind of
Do you have
I don't know that.
Xdebug set up to work with Vim?
not this iteration. I have in the past. Yeah,
Like recently in the past or years in the past?
years in the past. Yeah. Why you say it like that?
Okay. I'm just curious. Like
I mean, it wasn't
it,
super hard to do. I feel like I could do it again. I just haven't even thought about it. Now that you mention it, I probably should do that.
yeah, to me, Xdebug is the thing that saves me on so much of my code. And I feel like I could.
Oh yeah, Xdebug wouldn't even be a factor. I mean, if you didn't even like Vim the way Vim does it, Xdebug is not a PHP Storm only thing. There are a lot of Xdebug clients out there. So
of
yeah.
course, I'm just I only ask that because you keep saying that you feel like you're a better developer with Vim, and I just you know me, I love Vim, but I'm a better developer with PHP Storm.
You love the key the basic key stuff in Vim, but you don't love Vim. You're not like me, man. You don't love Vim. You don't tweak
not
it
anymore.
You don't customize it to your needs and desires, but that's a whole nother story. Anyways, moving on. The next feature is something we talked about previously on the show. John and I did a interview for PHP Architect with somebody who introduced us to the circuit breaker pattern. Or wait, did we do the interview? In PHP Architect, there was an article about the circuit breaker pattern, which is something I had never heard of before. It made complete sense. And I was like, I've got to implement this. This makes perfect sense. I mean, essentially what it does, again, my previous example of using a third-party service, this allows you to, if that third-party service goes down, allows you to handle that within your application a little bit more gracefully than making it look like your application's broken. So that is now something that they implemented in the latest release of Laravel. It's called throttle queue exceptions. And essentially it's a circuit breaker pattern where you can say, okay, if I get so many of these exceptions thrown in this amount of time, mark this service as down for now. And I'm like, I was just, when we were talking about the circuit breaker pattern, I'm like, I need to implement this. This is so key, and was something I never even thought about. I mean, there's nothing more frustrating than it looking like your site is broken, your site is down. But what makes it worse is when it's not even your site. It's because you're relying on a third-party service that's actually down.
But
and so what the circuit... You
said this is around queues?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
So it's middleware that you can put in place that I guess all this stuff can go through. And so the thing is called throttle queue exceptions, and it's middleware for queues. So this middleware could be useful when you rely on third-party HTTPs, whatever. That's just what I just said. But
right, but it doesn't actually affect page loads at that point. This is only affecting your queues for some reason. I'm trying to figure out what the goal is, what's it trying to protect, and what is it actually doing? Is it pausing your queue so it doesn't process additional jobs?
I think it pauses. Yeah, it says, given the above example, if the job has 10 consecutive failed attempts, the job will be throttled for 5 minutes. You can also use a back off method to wait between retries. So there's a couple options you can implement here, just basically slowing down that queue.
So this is really great for, I have a job that is going to put a file in S3. S3 is having issues for some reason, so it would say, well, I need to stop, I need to wait 5 minutes and try again, versus you doing it yourself. Because right now, when I have a job that does something, when it fails, I catch that and I'm like, using Beanstalk, I can put it back into the queue with a delay. And I often do it for some random time. So I'm hitting HubSpot constantly. And as soon as I get back API rate limit from HubSpot saying you're hitting me too quick, I just take that same job, put it back in the queue for some random amount of time, some random time within the next 10 minutes, saying, just try it again later. Maybe we'll calm down by then.
And so do you do the same if HubSpot were to go down? Would your application kind of do the same behavior? Or would just say, "Hey, I haven't been able to talk to HubSpot for a while now. Just hold on to this request for a while"?
That's a good question, and my answer is going to be probably not. I for this specific issue that I'm talking about, I'm specifically looking for a response of I'm hitting their API rate limit.
Mm-hmm.
So I already know I'm being rate limited, and it's a way for me to combat that. It's not necessarily me looking for HubSpot outages.
Gotcha.
But
okay.
With that being said, this sounds like you're almost putting in the middle and not having to think about it anymore. Like,
yeah, it's literally middleware. So,
but is it middleware in the sense that it's catching all of a specific type of exception, or?
I think that's how it's set up. Yeah. Well, it's catching a specific sort of queue that you can then add exceptions to.
So it's catching a queue or catching a specific type of exception.
I don't think it's catching. Actually, it does. It does say so. The example they have in Laravel News, it's catching an exception. It says return.
It's catching
new
a throttles exception.
Yeah.
So it seems like if all of your queues, all of your workers, whatever your terminology is, you've got to realize I need to throttle this for some reason and throw this exception. And then this just says, "Oh, okay, I know how to deal with this."
Right. So because this is only looking for those particular exceptions, which is. So now I have to play with this because now you have me wondering, okay, if all it's doing is watching for an exception, how's it know to throttle the queue?
Well, you're saying, so in my example, I catch this exception and I'm looking for you're hitting our 10-second limit lead, whatever their exception is.
Mm-hmm.
I catch the exception. I'm like, oh, we hit an API rate limit. I just take that same job data and throw it back into the queue with a random delay. Where if I were using Laravel, I would do the same thing. Catch them like, oh, I now need to rethrow throttles exception. And this new thing, it sounds like it does the same thing. It's like, oh, we're going to retry again. We're going to do the circuit breaker pattern.
Well, it's you're not throwing.
So we'll retry again at some amount of time.
Throttles exception. Throttles exceptions is a middleware.
Oh, you're right.
So what it's doing is it's listening to exceptions, and then it's fetching the class that the exception came from and storing it in cache. And then it's checking in the cache how many have frequently failed. And if it's failed X number of times, then perform action Y, which has access. Action Y has access to the queue. So on action Y, you can say delay all items from this queue by 30 minutes and throw up a maintenance page. So it's just it's a counter and then a response.
So you were saying queues. Is it not necessarily queues? It's just middleware for anything?
Any class that throws exceptions, I believe, can reference this middleware. The thing is that classes that throw exceptions, that occasionally throw exceptions, are usually API calls or queue calls. So.
Yeah, but I do plenty of API calls in a page request, not just in queues. Don't tell me what I should and shouldn't do. Speaking of which, that brought me down today.
What? Doing an API call on a page?
Sort of. Yes. Exactly what it sounds like. So we've been fighting issues now for a month, and there's still no 100% not silver bullet. We haven't proven the past issues, but today we finally said, okay, we can point to a specific issue. And it goes back it's hard when you're dealing with legacy code. This code is 15 years old. And, well, I say that. I started working on this code 9 years ago. It was already 3 different code bases. 2 PHP 4 code bases and a PHP 5 code base. Within the PHP 4 code bases, there were 4 different environments running similar code, similar databases, but not identical because of the way their infrastructure was at the time. So their solution before I started was, let's have this basically a microservice, its own database that runs all the phone system code, which has been fine. Everything's migrated. Now everything is one code base. Everything is fine except for this little microservice that is hit a lot. That is the only service that is using RDS. And then today the sites went down. We're like, what the hell is going on? Why? We thought we solved all these issues.
Sure, you said hell.
Yeah. This microservice was being hit, and all it does is say, hey, I need to know how many recordings you have for this piece of information. And it hits the database. RDS, we were hitting some sort of burst limit in the infrastructure, which caused MySQL to back up, or RDS to back up, and lock up our entire core database set of connections, which is not connected to that at all, but it's a third party. I don't know if that made any sense at all.
A little bit.
You lost me at that last
Okay.
part.
But
all right. So phone burner, a request comes into phone burner, a database connection is opened to authenticate you, do some other information. Mm-hmm. Within that same request, this API call is made to our own internal microservice, but it's a separate database.
Okay.
That database is hitting some sort of AWS throttle. So that connection stays open, which means the connection at the first level, at phone burner, that database connection is open to a separate database and just sits there and hangs.
Oh, all right. Now I understand.
So you have these 2 database connections hanging because of an RDS issue in a separate API. Going back to Thomas's point of that's a stupid way to do that.
I didn't say stupid. I thought it.
Yeah. But you do that enough times, and now all of your database connections on your primary site are filled up because it can't do anything. It's waiting for this other request. Sites go completely down.
It sounds like a persistent connections issue, which is a MySQL configuration setting.
No, it's not persistent connections because it's the same connection.
But if you're using FPM and it's trying to scale, then it's going to try and open more and more connections and not properly close connections from the downscale.
You're missing the point. That connection hasn't ended. The request hasn't ended. Request comes in, opens a connection to authenticate, to get information out of the database. That same request says, hey, I need information from the microservice. That one connection stays open because the microservice is screwed.
I'm saying the persistence to your RDS database.
The main one doesn't use RDS.
Well, then I don't know.
It's the microservice that does. It was a nightmare. We finally solved it. We know what it was, and that's another one of those AWS pain in the ass pieces where if you're dealing with certain types of hardware, you have burst credit where all of a sudden you hit this threshold and you eat into this burst credit, and as long as you don't go to zero, you're fine. But as soon as you do, you're basically ground to a halt. So managing infrastructure is horrible. Don't do it.
You said something. You said you're working on a 50.
And Cloudways can help you not do it. What?
I told you last week, I'm getting a lot of calls, a lot of interview calls, and I got one today where he wanted me to send him an updated resume, and then we did a phone conversation, and in the conversation he asked me...
Did you send him to your Mojo Live account instead of your...
No, don't know what that is.
It's a failed thing. Sorry. Continue. Oscar, you're welcome.
I sent him my actual resume, and during the phone call, he asked me how many years I have with PHP, and I said it's about 20 now. And he goes, "Oh wow!" And my first thought was, "Hey, you know what the first sentence in my resume is? With about 20 years of experience, I have seen and done a lot. Blah 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 blah. Like, come on, you asked for my resume, and you're telling me you didn't read it."
You should have said that to him.
I would have. Yeah.
It's recruiters, man.
You can't be going to interviews without talking to me first, Thomas. I'm your agent, man.
He did ask me an interesting question though. He had a question from the employer. He had a series of questions from the employer, and one of the questions was which gets loaded first, composer.lock or composer.json. And my answer
loaded
was,
from what?
Neither? Like when you run composer install, which file does it read first, lock or JSON? My answer was, who cares? Like, it reads both simultaneously as far as I'm concerned. They both do different things. One of them means something different to the system than the other.
Installed reads lock first. Come on. It doesn't care about JSON.
Yeah,
it has to.
It does. Who cares?
Yeah.
If I told you,
Thomas. It's like,
if I told you absolutely, you said composer.lock is read first. Composer.lock is read first. You'd say, yeah, composer.lock is read first. And I said, actually, in the code, composer.json is read first and then composer.lock. You'd still say, oh yeah, that sounds about right. That makes sense. You wouldn't even question why.
I'm questioning now. Composer installed doesn't care about the JSON file, cares about the lock file.
It absolutely cares about the JSON file because it diffs the two before it does anything. If you edit the composer JSON and do a composer install, it diffs them and says, hey, I need to update this new package.
I think you're full of shit, but I'm going to check.
We can test this real fast. Just delete your composer JSON file and see if it'll run. It probably won't run. It'll say, hey, you don't have a composer JSON file.
Absolutely. It has to load both. It has to compare the two. So who cares which one loads first?
And I kind of agree with Thomas. That's like saying when you walk into your office and you turn on your light, how does electricity get to the bulb? I don't care. I don't know. I don't care.
Not at all.
I never,
not at all.
never need to worry about that at anything I do. Like my job, I don't care. I just type the command, it runs, and I'm able to code.
Well, it's like asking when you start your car which cylinder fires first. It literally doesn't
How
matter.
is that any different than what I just said? You just said no, it's nothing like that. You dick. You just like trying to make me look bad.
You guys are full of. I'm telling you, you're full of shit. Composer install doesn't care about the JSON file.
Absolutely. Edit your Composer JSON.
I think you're right.
I just did.
And then run Composer install, and it'll still say
I just did.
It'll install your new thing. That's the way Composer install and then new package works. Is it writes
Composer
it to the
install
JSON
only
file.
cares. No, Composer install only cares about the lock file. Composer require adds it to the JSON file and installs it. That's the whole point of the lock file.
He's right in that perspective. No. If he changes the version in Composer JSON, it won't care about it unless he intentionally says Composer update.
Yes,
no, the Composer update cares.
No, the version, yes, but if you add a new package, it will install that package. That's how Composer install package name works.
I think you're both wrong and right at the same time there.
Anyways,
can we move
still
on?
Wasn't a fan of that question. Laravel 7 has reached end of life. No security updates. So
it seems like just yesterday it was released.
If you're following along, Laravel 6 gets security updates until September 6th of next year. Laravel 7 no longer gets security updates. Laravel 8 gets security updates until September 6th of next year. And Laravel 9 gets released in September. And it's the new
of next
LTS.
Year. Of this year.
Of this year.
It gets released in September of this year. 2021. Yeah, it's the new LTS. So that means it's going to have fixes for 2 years, not one. Right?
3 years. Bug fixes,
security fixes for
bug
3
fixes
years.
for 2, security fixes for 3.
Right.
This is dumb.
Cool. Why is this? Why?
It's because security.
No, why is this dumb?
Security fixes, man. Like, you've got to commit to fixing major security issues in a major release.
So just to be clear, I added a package to my Composer JSON, did a Composer install. It does not install that package. That's not how Composer works.
How do I mute him?
Sorry. Composer install only cares about the lock file.
I don't know. It's just this whole thing. Remember that the decision to not release Laravel 9 was made over a weekend. This is another thing where we need some kind of committee looking at things, because the bugs that have been discovered in the last month have been fatal bugs. Like real bad stuff.
I think they backpatched those too, right?
Yeah. And so say that you're not gonna. Well, no, they didn't backpatch them. They didn't patch them in 5. They patched them from 6 on because they were still all under security support.
You think?
They did not patch 5.
Well, no, I agree. I mean, they have to cut. They have to cut the line somewhere.
Do they? It's one line of code, man. It was just a bad character.
I don't know the specific case you're talking about right now.
The SQL injection.
But how many? I'm sure they have some sort of data of how many instances are still running PHP or.
There's no way to get
they're
that.
About 5, right?
There's no way to get that.
That's.
If there were, that would be a security issue, and they wouldn't fix it.
There has to be a way, right? I mean, they do it for WordPress all the time.
WordPress has a built-in update system now. So the WordPress instances are always contacting the server. Laravel does not have.
The way to tell would be they have a way if they were to release a new 5. Version they would see if it got auto
You think the
updated through
5.
Composer,
versions that
right?
are still out there are getting updated?
Then releasing the fix doesn't change anything.
Well,
They're not being
if they
updated.
said this is an important security fix, then someone would update it, but they'd have to do that. They'd have to have a new security issue to.
Don't you think that they're already announcing that by saying that, hey, we just fixed 6, 7, and 8? If people aren't paying attention, they're not paying attention.
How do I mute him?
Doesn't matter.
Hey, I'll help you out here, Thomas. I'm going to make John feel bad. I think I'm going to make him feel bad. I don't know if I'm going to make him feel bad or not. Well, and you would appreciate this as well, Thomas. But I have to be honest with you, John. I think as user group organizers, if we can even call ourselves that anymore,
We suck.
we have
We're
failed hard with our little local user group.
We
crashed,
failed. I feel you and I were both already on the tail end of frustration around it for a year plus leading up to the pandemic. The pandemic was just the little push, like, okay, you need to take a break.
Yeah, but when it's over, everyone's going to want to go out. So there's going to be a huge flood of people coming in.
So I crashed. My buddies up in Canada, Vancouver PHP. I've been crashing their meetups for a while. Matter of fact, they had another one today, and they've been. I mean, they just stream it on YouTube and been having a great time. I crashed Nashville PHP. I've also crashed Arizona's PHP a couple times, but I crashed Nashville PHP meetup last night, and I get on and just take a wild guess who the presenter was.
Taylor.
Fucking Steve.
Fucking
Steve was the presenter. And on top of it, he's pretty damn smart. The guy live coded for like a freaking hour on how to create a package in PHP. And he live coded the whole thing. And it didn't miss a beat. It was actually a very good and very informative talk. But yeah, fucking Steve is the guy haunts my dreams. I swear to God, I go to sleep and there's fucking Steve.
Out?
We actually had a very pleasant conversation over Twitter.
Did you call him fucking Steve?
They listen to Prince together.
Oh. Very good conversation on Twitter.
Yeah, we had he's a good guy. You know this, but
PHP stuff. Yeah. The vote.
Haven't we been talking PHP stuff? It's kind of the name of the show.
No, the show is PHPUgly. There is a difference.
We'll definitely make it ugly tonight.
The RFC for Fibers is currently being voted on for 8.1.
I thought I saw this got approved. I thought I had this in my mailbox today that it was accepted.
It is in voting until
Fibers.
Yesterday.
Until the 22nd.
Do you know we have somebody in internals named Dan Aykroyd?
Yes.
Is that what the name is? That is pretty awesome.
The voting is real tight for this RFC. It's currently 29-11 against, or 29 for, 11 against, and it needs a 2/3 to be accepted. It's going to run until the 22nd, so we've still got a week and a half or so to go. But this might be.
But didn't you say this wasn't going to affect? This wasn't going to affect the everyday PHP developer.
It won't affect the everyday PHP developer, but it will affect where PHP starts to combat Node on its parallel functional behaviors. So it has a big impact on the future of PHP. So keep your eyes out.
So
for
currently
that one.
it's passing.
Currently it's not passing.
No, it needs 2/3. He said,
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not passing.
Right. If I
29-11 is failing. It would need to be 32-11 to be passing.
math is hard.
I'm
too drunk. I'm too drunk to math right now.
Fabian has announced that Symfony will probably not be supporting 7 in its next version. The next version of Symfony is
PHP 7. Yeah, I heard this.
The next version of Symfony
is this what that card is?
Yeah. The next version of Symfony is coming out close to the end of life, or the end of bug fixes life for the 7 branch. So it looks like 8.0.
I'm just gonna go on I want to go out on a limb here.
Yeah.
29 to 11 is more than 66%.
How do I mute him?
I'm so confused.
I know 11.
11
double
times
of
2
11
is 22.
would only be 22. Yeah.
Right, exactly. So you only need 22 you need 26 to be at 66%. They're at 29. I'm so confused.
My campaign to gaslight John is very successful. He's forgotten math.
22 to 11 is 66%.
He's forgotten math and apologized for it. Yes, that's true. So with the bump to oh no.
What's happening?
Buttery Crumpets says,
"Oh, here comes Buttery."
Buttery Crumpets says, "I don't want to stir any shit, but according to the composer source, it reads JSON first and then lock."
Da, da, da.
I didn't say it didn't read it. It just says it doesn't matter. It doesn't do shit with it.
Not the question.
But that wasn't the question.
And that's
You're
what
right.
I said. Is I said it read JSON first.
Tom is right as always.
Anyways,
although
I got the question.
changing
In the test, I got the question wrong, but.
Buttery, you're the man. I just want to put that out there.
So with Laravel being a Symfony dependent framework, it's likely that the next version of Laravel will be 8.0 only as well.
I mean, that makes sense.
So
right?
So get your upgrade engines running, because
God damn, they're just gonna force you through it. Yeah.
7 is getting expired. 8 only has a year left, and when 9 comes out, it will require PHP 8. So get ready for all of those changes all at once.
Well, that's not official yet, but what you're saying, Thomas, makes a lot of sense.
That's why I said it.
I'm so far away from PHP 8. Not that I use Laravel, so I'm not quite as affected, but just like everything else, there's going to be new libraries that people are going to want to use that are going to be targeted to PHP 8 because why not?
Well, and because it's got all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm seeing people regularly talking about attributes now, where they're trying to get attributes working for the thing that they want to do, and attribute-based frameworks coming out, and it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
Plus a 7% speed bump on 8.1 for nothing. A free 7% speed bump.
From what version?
From 8 to 8.1.
Really? Wow.
That was courtesy of the one guy who works for JetBrains, the little-known Ukrainian company.
Who is that? I forget who that is now. It's not the Xdebug person. It's the
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. It's Dmitry Stogov. Inheritance cache fix, where preloading inheritance between classes gets us between a 5% and 8% performance increase between 8 and 8.1. I was thinking of Nikita Shutter. Yeah, I was thinking of Nikita Popov, but Nikita Popov is responsible for enums. Dmitry.
Right. Yeah. His name is all over enums.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been following that one. I don't understand. I've been trying to follow internals. I have no idea how they get anything done. I have no idea how they have full-time jobs. Like, there's so much communication going on, and it's a good thing. I mean, as a PHP developer, it's a good thing to see how much communication they have going on. But my God, that their email chains are just so stinking long, and they just come in constantly all day long. I mean, this is obviously a global effort, so it doesn't matter what time of day it is. Somebody's reading and replying to emails on PHP internals.
Well, you remember,
and it just amazes me.
Do you remember Linus Torvald? Some guy.
Who's that?
Linus Torvald, creator of the Linux kernel. Some guy 10 years ago or something now came into their thread and said, memory management on this thing is wrong. And Linus was like, it's not wrong. I've spent a lot of time on this. It's correct. And the guy produced this mathematical proof of how it was wrong. And Linus Torvald lost his shit, wrote a 3-page letter telling the guy to fuck off, corrected the mathematical proof, showed the mathematical proofs that he had written behind it, and then within a month of that, retired from the project as the lead developer. It's just fuck it, I quit.
I tell you, it's a thankless job. I mean, things like the Linux kernel, things like the PHP core, those people behind PHP core do not get the credit they deserve.
And I think
we have an entire industry built off this language. I mean, so many of us make a living off it, and it's not an easy thing to maintain and to keep pushing forward. And the people we have, especially the new people who are coming in, who I've spoken to some of them, and some of the old guards that have been around for a while, they just don't get the appreciation and recognition they deserve, I feel.
I think Nikita gets a lot of recognition because his name is probably the easiest to say on the entire internals team. But he works for the PHP Storm group for IntelliJ, and his job is integrating the new stuff into PHP Storm so that it's there on day one. And that's what I've been really enjoying about PHP Storm, is that as things move, you get the newest version of PHP Storm, it's got all the new things, even beta stuff.
Yep.
Hey,
not everybody can afford PHP Storm, though. You got to keep that in mind. I keep reminding myself, and I keep reminding John, especially when we do things like user groups and we're talking to new developers, people coming into the industry. Not everybody can afford PHP Storm, so you should understand another tool that is accessible to them, whether that's VS Code, Atom, Vim, whatever you want it to be. But if you want
EAP version always free?
EAP is free, but it's time limited. You know what I found
out? And it's not always available.
You know what I found about VS Code?
Uh-huh.
VS Code is a browser.
Yeah, it's an Electron app.
Yeah. VS Code is totally just 100% an Electron app. I did not know that.
Well, I mean, you can literally run it in your browser. There's a Docker deployment you can do that you can run and have it in your browser.
That's nutty.
That's a good thing, though. I mean, that really is a good thing. That's what they have in GitHub. I think is that VS Code, that workspace that they have now in GitHub.
Yeah.
But is it running a local application of some sort? When you're saying it's a browser, it's all JavaScript accessing your local files. So you're not sending your code somewhere else.
No. So, despite us now being professional podcasters who have an official sponsor, we would like to thank all of our Patreons. Thank you guys so much. It means a lot to us. It really does.
I need to see if we have any new ones. I think we have a new one, actually.
That's how much it means to us.
Go ahead and keep talking.
Just in case you become a patron at the last second, we want to make sure we get you in on this. So we don't check until right now when the Patreon page is already being displayed.
Let me see. They joined. They joined February 23rd. Do we have? Yes, we're good. We're up to date.
We are up to date.
Kaylin was our latest addition, Mr. Kaylin.
We did
So,
mention
yeah.
last week that we had a new Patreon, Blaz, and we've been told here the name is pronounced Blush.
Yeah. Oh, he was in our Discord.
Absolutely.
Or they were in our Discord.
Uh,
That's another thing. If you're a Patreon member, if you're not aware, we got the special Patreon channel working for you all now. So you can pop in there and have more of a direct contact with us if you like.
Or just talk bad about us. That works too.
We're in all the Discord channels.
Yep. And
What's that address again? Do you remember, Thomas?
Discord.phpugly.com. It's scrolling along the bottom of your screen right now.
Also, www.patreon.com/phpugly. We're very thankful to all you guys. It means the world to us that for some reason people care about hearing what we have to say.
And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube.
What we and Buttery Crumpets have to say.
Basically, they tune in for Buttery. Yeah. Everybody wants to see what Buttery has to say. Yes, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I want to see our numbers go up. Our numbers haven't. I don't even know where our numbers are right now, but we had a little.
You got a little digital interface that showed that to you.
No, 234. I think we're down. Are we down? Or we're up?
No, that's up.
That's definitely up.
Is that up?
We were only at 200 like a month or two ago.
Dimitri did a big push for us and got us like 10 new subs.
That's what we need to do. We need to contact PewDiePie and see if he'll give us a plug.
We need to have Harry Mack on the show. We'll get new people in. Just have him come on the show. Everybody loves Harry Mack.
People who will be exclusively disappointed.
And that doesn't differ very much to our regular listeners.
I've been trying to get new listeners via Rocket League.
He has.
How's that working out?
I have a podcaster microphone antenna on my car, and my name is PHPUgly podcast.
There you go. If you play Rocket League, hunt him down and destroy him. All right, I think that's it. We've run long. I'm wrapping this up.
You're so unenthused about wrapping up the show. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This has been another excellent episode of PHP Ugly. I'm your host, Tom Rideout. This has been show number 227.
Tom, that was a very good exit. I'm John Congdon.
I'm Eric.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
You gotta have that.
Play the music.
That bounce out.
That's the
1, 2, 1, 2. Coming off the top, y'all know how we do. Listen, I'ma drop a freestyle you can cherish. I'ma send a shout out to the host named Eric. Yo, he's never on some average shit. You know, Eric, he stays loud and passionate. I'm about to break it down for y'all with the clever song. Yo, shout to host named Thomas, cause he's never wrong. Yo, shout to John. You know that he's smart and quiet, unlike my freestyles, which cause a riot. I'm about to do it like this, cause the people love me. Shouts out to PHP the Ugly. It's called ugly cause it's not professional, but I'm about to come through and bless it with style. So let's do it when I'm spitting. I perfume the room. Yo, the segment of the show is called Doom and Gloom. That came from Thomas. Yeah, can nobody go beyond this? I get the mic and then I'm about to keep it like a promise. Yeah, and y'all know we fill them up with anguish. We talking about the PHP, the programming language. About to break it down, no exaggeration. What do y'all do for a living? Web applications. Okay, I can dig it. My words spray tight. They're getting together on the Thursday nights. Yeah, when it comes to rhyming, you can call me the new dude. I spew true lyrics while y'all broadcast on YouTube. So let's get it. You know my lyrics are major. All up in the comments, they got plenty of haters, but they doing what they doing. Keep it ugly. We ending every show with the saying it's lovely. Let's go. Hey, shout out to y'all. Peace to the whole squad, man. Hope your channel is doing real well on YouTube.
Yes, Harry Mack. Thank you very much.
He only did that because he believes in
That's
us and thinks
true.
we're amazing.
I think we need shirts. I think we need PHP Ugly shirts. I'm just saying.
I'm fine with some swag. We need some artwork though. Reach out to my buddy, see if he wants to put something together for a little kickback or something. Yeah, we could do Fiverr too, I guess. You got any ideas? I want something creative if we're gonna do something.
The elephant. I
want something creative if we're gonna do this.
The microphone. I think it.
No, it needs to have some sort of saying or something.
No, not for a shirt.
It needs to be funny, man. We need good geek wear. Nobody has any good PHP geek wear out there.
I feel like we could do something. Double claw shirt.
Yeah, that wasn't very funny though. I mean, it caught on, but I want something that, like, when people wear it, like, even if you're not a PHP developer, you'll know it's funny. Do something. I'm gonna drop that other scene. Matter of fact, before I do it, I'm gonna make sure it's not there because I think you're full of shit.
No, it is.
I think I put it out there.
I did.
I've told you.
I pulled it from the chat. I need it as a video though, as an MP4.
Yeah, I'm downloading the MP4 right now. It's not in the ugly
the
Dropbox.
YouTube video is. Wait, which scene are you talking about?
No, not the YouTube. The exit scene, the one. Thanks for listening. I thought I put it in the extras. Outro. No, it's not here.
Yeah, that outro is the old MP3.
This is the this says intro on it. So, all right. Well, I'm gonna download it right now.
No, I need the Cloudways video as an MP4 too. Trying to get that YouTube thing to play was a pain in the ass.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can YouTube DL that thing. Because they didn't give me they didn't give me anything. So I'll see if I can YouTube DL it. I'll send it your way. Do we want to pre-record that? And should all three of us pre-record it and just randomly play one every week, so it's not always the same?
That's just more work for me. Why not? Why not?
Doesn't OBS have a little randomizer where you can randomly play something?
I could play from a text file that's random.
Just
Eric, how did you hook Emmanuel up with LinkedIn?
Huh?
How did you hook Emmanuel up with LinkedIn?
I don't know what you're talking about. Emmanuel with LinkedIn.
We just got Emmanuel's watching us on YouTube. Said thank you, Eric, for connecting. Oh, you connected with him on LinkedIn. Never mind.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Emmanuel. Yeah, I was just in LinkedIn. That's funny because I was just in LinkedIn a couple days ago, and I went through and like killed a bunch of my requests. I had like 50 requests out there, and I came across like 2 or 3 that looked like they were PHP developers. I'm like, oh yeah,
I didn't cover the one thing I wanted to cover this week. I can't believe that.
You're welcome, Emmanuel. What didn't you cover? What the hell's adult?
You know, we have this place where you put things you want to talk about.
I had this on my tablet. I didn't have it on my browser.
You want to know something funny? I've got the same thing. I've got a list here of things to talk about, and
you guys got to check this thing out. It's Git for SQL.
What are you doing?
It's like it sounds really cool. Check out.
Git.
Yeah, it's Git for SQL. I posted it in the podcast Slack. check it out because I'm definitely going to have a lot to say about this next week after I use it. But it's.
I can't believe Eric didn't bring up Magic Test and
I didn't
Laravel
bring
test
up Magic
tools.
Test either.
I don't care about Magic Test. I don't see what the big deal is about it.
Well,
We should have talked about that.
that
That would have been a good one.
And I wanted to bring up the fact that we'll talk about it later. We had a ticket that was worked on that was not new, and it surprised the hell out of me.
I'm prepping for snowpocalypse here. We're supposed to get 5 feet over the weekend.
You're killing me, John. You're coming up with all this stuff after the show. You're killing me.
I was supposed to go to the snow tomorrow. I was going to be out of office tomorrow. I'm going to go to Mount Laguna to go to the snow, but turns out it's going to be snowing and raining all day tomorrow.
Yeah,
and not
our
good.
Our snowing starts at 8 o'clock tomorrow night and ends Sunday afternoon.
Wow.
It's going to be...
Bread, milk, and
It's going to be the
paper.
most snow we've ever had since I moved here. It's like 5 feet of snow.
That's crazy.
So we're like stocking up right now. Tomorrow, going to Walmart is going to be crazy.
Mm-mm. Yeah, that's
Well,
not gonna be
fortunately,
fun
we're
at
not
all.
in a hot, or we're not in a cold weather season. So after it stops snowing, it'll all melt within a day or two. Unlike when
5 feet will
Yeah,
melt
just
within
about.
a day or two.
because it'll be about 60 degrees on Monday and Tuesday. So that'll plow through the snow real
Wow.
fast.
Oh shit! What is this Dolt thing, Thomas?
Yeah,
This
it's
does
really
look cool.
looking. And if you look at Dolt Hub, they have like shared databases of coronavirus infections, public holidays, IP addresses to countries. Like they have all these public Git repos for data. It's cool.
There's a few. We were just talking about that on PHP Architect as well. There's a whole open data initiative out there of small government data. This looks pretty slick, though, man.
No,
Have you
not
played
yet.
with this at all?
I'm going to next week. I have a ticket for it because this could streamline our seating process by quite a bit.
Well, then maybe I'm not understanding it because this looks like it's its own database.
Yes,
So this is not MySQL compatible.
I think it is SQL compatible, which
It says connect to Dalt just like any other MySQL database to run queries or updates. Huh.
So what is it actually? Should we save it for
you
next
should
week?
read
'Cause
about
I'm
it, and
confused.
then we'll talk about it next week because I'm going to try and implement it on my stuff, and we'll see how it goes. You should know roughly what it is. All right, I'm gonna run.
Huh.
I
I got that. I got that outro. I'm gonna put it in extras.
All
So it'll be there
All right.
for you next week.
You got to edit the fade outs of the audio though.
Oh, I'm not that worried about it. It's not that. I mean, it's not like
Should
it's
be
in the show. You know what I mean? It's just not in the show. It's just something we do on the stream.
I will.
So
I'll catch
I'm
you guys
gonna
later.
see-
Going to end the stream now. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you so much for our Patreons, and make sure to go visit our sponsor Cloudways. Do we have an affiliate code for
Cloudways!
Cloudways?
PHPUgly. You get $25 credit or something.
Sounds about right.